Good morning and welcome in, everyone. Before we get into this morning's update, I'd like to go over a synopsis of what we're going to be covering in this next 15 to 20 minutes. First, we can see XRP is up about 0.5%, sitting at the 52.77 level. We talked about yesterday the bear market, or not the bear market, but the dead cat bounce. And that's what would happen for XRP if it couldn't break above 53.09 cents. If Bitcoin stays below 55,000 and some change, and Ethereum gets rejected at around 2,300, this would be considered a dead cat bounce. A little rally over the weekend. That's exactly what we expected. When we look at several different charts for XRP, one of two things are happening. We came up, and we're going to try to hold. As you can see, we're up over 53 back. But now on current times on this downtrending support, it's at 52.7 cents. So now it's either we back test and hold 52.7 cents. Maybe in the 2 hourly, it's starting to put in some inversion. But we would have to break up at 52.71 to avoid this now from being a dead cat bounce. And then if it were to break down, the technical target is 48.4 cents in current times off of this small descending consolidation. And then we can take it a step further. We had this set up and 52.3 cents we got on top of. We're bouncing off of the next major resistance is 54.3, which is the 2018 resistance line that we were desperately trying to flip the support. So now we ask ourselves, is this a continuation up, or are we going to appropriate a dead cat bounce and break through? Yesterday, we had no idea what was going to happen. We talked about if it got rejected at either 52.3 or 53 cents in current terms yesterday, that it could be rejected, and then it would come down to that 48 cents and some change. Now in current terms, our support structure is 52.7 and then 52 cents if you look at this particular formation. So it's going to be interesting watching this go through. So we'll take a deeper look at the technical analysis. And then while we're here, I want to watch this entire video with everybody. It's an 8-minute video about the Ripple stablecoin discussion. It's from Bloomberg. And I went on Google and found this video, but it's linked to this person's YouTube, Plan XRP. They got like 6,000 subscribers, but it's everywhere. Everybody's sharing the same thing, but this is the one that was on Google. I can go back and show everybody. When I Googled it, this is what came up. We can go to any one that I want to if I want, but we can go into the crypto briefing. We can go anywhere we want to try to find the information. But I wanted to choose somebody who didn't have as many subscribers so that you guys could see their page. The one below this has like 200,000 subscribers. So if I'm going to watch a video off of Google and it's linked to somebody's YouTube, I prefer to do it with somebody who has less subscribers so that maybe the word can get out. I have 23,400, so some of you might be like, hey, I want to go to Plan XRP simply because the video's here. So I like to give credit where credit's due. So that's how I found it, Googling it. And I tried to find the appropriate video. I found hundreds of them on YouTube that are exactly this exact thing. And I don't have to worry about any kind of content creation because they didn't make any of their own content. It's just simply sharing this 8-minute video. They didn't say a word. Everybody did. I've seen it all over YouTube. I prefer if somebody's doing it to at least share their own opinion on it or at least their own content for context. But not everybody's going to do that. Some people just perpetrate the news and things like that, which is important so we can find it. So please make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this update. It'll greatly help us push through the analytics, and I greatly appreciate everybody who's a part of this community. We could have made some really big noise yesterday in our community. Personally, we missed the boat. We had 3,100 views on the video yesterday, only 276 likes. To put it in perspective, the video that had 1,000 views had 171 likes. So that means most of the people who came in that aren't part of this community or the people part of our community did not hit the like button. So it failed to continue to spread around. That video could have went around to 10,000 plus people if the like button would have been hit. So it's awesome seeing 3,000 views, but it's a shame seeing less than 10% of the people actually hit that like button. In this case, yeah, about 7% of the people, not even 5% maybe, hit the like button. So remember to hit that like button if you do appreciate my content and you want to see this community continue to grow. I appreciate everybody who did hit that subscribe button because we went over 23,400 subscribers yesterday. So that was beautiful to see. So make sure to hit that like button, and I'm going to timestamp this very quickly. Good morning, 8:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, September 8th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I don't do any charge for my content. There is no paid advertising that you have to hear me rattle off here every single day for 99% of my content. So all I ask is for you to hit that like button. On this Sunday morning, hit that like button. Help me push my content through the YouTube algorithm so we can continue to expand our horizon. It's that simple. So in a couple minutes here, we'll go through this. And then at the end of this video, we'll watch that 8-minute with Brad Garlinghouse talking about the RLUSD stablecoin release and a possible Ripple IPO simultaneously. So that is something that we really need to listen to and pay attention to if he's really hinting at not just the RLUSD stablecoin, but also the Ripple IPO simultaneously. Everybody asked me, will you be investing in the Ripple IPO? Depends where it releases. Depends the price it releases and what it looks like. Yes, the odds are that I will invest in it, but it has to be in the right price range, and I have to see the right liquidity pool. So we'll see. We'll look at that in the future. So XRP right now, what happens if we can push this back up ultimately and get back above the 2018 resistance and so on and so forth? Well, in time, you'd come back up to that cup and handle resistance that's just south of 61 cents right now. As you continue to come down and this pattern continues to consolidate out, the pattern targets change. That was 62.2 cents where the X marks the spot, but we got rejected instead of riding support there. So that was an overriding rejection. We are having a downward consolidation, almost in a falling channel sense, but if we were to break up uniformly, get over the 2018 resistance, well, in time, we would come back up to around that 61 cents. That's the cup and handle resistance. That's also the falling channel resistance there as well. So it becomes very interesting. So does this mean if we got rejected there that we would come down to 41.98, or did we come all the way down to 32.22? There's a compelling argument to be made if this continues and then it breaks through. There's a compelling evidence or argument to be made that we may come all the way back down to 32.2 cents. That's the compelling argument. Nobody's saying that that's what's going to happen, but that is the compelling argument indeed. Let's see. So that's what I'm looking at here. If we were to break up, well, then in time, you'd have to come over the 2018 resistance, and you'd have to find your way back up at the cup and handle resistance there and try to push your way up. But we have a stopgap measure because as of right now, we're below the 2018 resistance. And in current times, you're talking about 54.4 cents still. I mean, we're painfully below that. We're also still below the pattern resistance, the short-term consolidation resistance. Yes, we've been fortunate enough to pull back up. But as we stated yesterday, or Friday even, or on the live Friday, 52 cent area today can be a support structure and you have to come over, but that's the first tier. In order for this to hold, it's very, very important we understand that 52.7 is everything. We don't want to break that 52.7, otherwise it starts this drop to 48.4. Now you can confirm it if it breaks down from here. We would have to break down this support at 52 cents to confirm that drop. Remember, the one is 48.4. This is in current times because now we have to bring it out. Let's say it were to break through right here. The one's 48.4 as it lowered in current times. This in current times is down to 47.5 cents. So the longer we consolidate out, if it is a breakdown instead of a breakout, that's where you're looking at the downward targets. Over the top, we don't even have to guess. 54.3, just over the top of that, if we were to get on top of the 2018 resistance, is right around 55 cents. So you have 54.3 and 55. But in order for us to invalidate this structure, we need to break above up here at 55.39, and that would allow us to get above the 54.40, which is the 2018 resistance. Right now, it's either this is a bear flag, or we're going to start to push this around, and we're going to start breaking back towards 55.30. We have the weekly candle close tonight, which is very important, ladies and gentlemen. The weekly candle close is in 11 hours and 16 minutes. Right now, this does not look like a strong candle. This is a completely engulfing candle to the downside. No, it didn't engulf the entire candle before, but it engulfed the bearish side of this reversal. So it confirmed the reversal, and this is going to be a hot candle. If it ended right here, this is another completely engulfing candle to the downside. It would start exactly like the last one, halfway point, and then it would take it and come right down. This would be a terrible weekly candle if it closes here. Terrible. Now, does it mean that it has to end things? No. It just means that it was a terrible week. Next week could be a good week. But if the candle ends here, it was a terrible week. Bitcoin, 54,422, painfully below where it needs to be. Again, Bitcoin, this would be a pathetic candle here. The weekly candle started at 60,622 and it's going to end under 55K. That would be an embarrassing close. And that would open up the door to that 54 as it's already hit once. And then ultimately that 50,979 and maybe even coming down here to not just 48,300, but the yearly low is down at 42K. It makes sense for it. It could come all the way down here. I'm telling everybody right now. If this plays out in a handle kind of like and it's actually set up like this, I'm going to switch it to this right now just in case. Because we've got the nearest supports. What if it actually is like this? And then this would bring us right down to 46, 47. I mean, that's what we're going to have to watch now. Because we do have two extended wicks here that make more sense for this pattern. So that's what I'm doing in the weekly. I'm going to put it just like that because that's what it looks like it wants to show us. So that's what we're looking for. If you're looking to trade XRP in the USA or around the world or other cryptos that you appreciate, look in the video description below and our pinned comments. There's HOTCOIN and or BITUNIX. HOTCOIN, you can copy trade me. We are up 246%. I have not made a copy trade in like 7 days because my mom's hospitalized. So I haven't had the mental fortitude here to make those kind of trades when there's 32 people following me. So hopefully in the next day or two, I'll be able to do that now that things are settling a little bit. But that's what's going on. If you want to join HOTCOIN and or BITUNIX, I encourage you. BITUNIX will have copy trading sometime this month. So if you're a member, just continue being patient or trade on the platform because it's beautiful. There's BITUNIX, HOTCOIN, and BLOFIN. Obviously, do your research. And then if you want to send me a personal support, pay it forward, a YouTube super chat or Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. No donations. Haven't had, 3 donations maybe the whole month, which is fine. It's been a very slow month, but if you appreciate my work and want to pay it forward, that's a great way to do it. So we're going to end it here. We're going to watch this video, and then I'll release it. So if you are watching, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Share this on social media, and this is very important. So we're going to watch this together.
And you're coming here with sort of good news, I guess, for people who have been following what you do. You could be launching your stablecoin a bit faster than most people thought.
Well, we've always been kind of consistent that we're going to do everything we can to launch this year. Everything Ripple does is in conjunction with regulatory approval, licensing, and so a key issue that we will continue to make sure we are partnered with U.S. regulators before we go live with the stablecoin. We'll first issue it, we expect, in the U.S., but we think there's opportunity for stablecoins globally. And certainly Japan, as you, I think, probably know, they approved some legislation a year ago that came into effect this year. And so there's a process underway now to do stablecoins here in Japan as well.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. But when we're talking about the U.S., we're talking about a matter of weeks for this launch.
Yeah, our expectation has been to move as quickly as we can. Some people, I think, thought that might be the very end of the year. We won't know for sure until regulators say, yes, we have the green light. But we're optimistic. We acquired a company called Standard Custody, which had a New York DFS trust license. And there's a process you go through to kind of transfer that and how it's going to be used. We've had a great partnership with the New York DFS, Department of Financial Services, through a BIT license we've had for many years. And we'll continue to partner with them and work through that with them before we go live.
Tell us a little bit about the use case. How does this really differentiate from your token itself? Because that's also being talked about, the payment system, right?
Right. We've always used XRP, the digital asset that's kind of native to our technology stack. We've used that as a bridge asset to transfer money across borders. What we have found is that stablecoins, particularly US dollar stablecoins, has gone from a pretty small market to today it's about $170 billion worldwide. And people think that that may end up being 2 to 3 trillion in about 5 years. Given Ripple's place in the payments infrastructure, as well as a trusted brand partnering with financial institutions and regulators, we felt like there's an opportunity to enter the stablecoin market as that market continues to grow. We already have used stablecoins in our payment flows for certain corridors, depending upon whether you're going to the Australian dollar or the Philippine peso, certain corridors, it's more efficient to use a stable coin at times. So we always use what's best for the customer, and we decided to go live and build our own stable coin, and excited to get live with that this year.
Thinking of building a stable coin here in Japan, I mean, you said that the regulations here were clearer, but at the same time, is it more of a conservative market, no?
You know, I think Japan has been a more conservative market in some ways, but I actually think that in some ways is also really healthy. Japan, more so than some countries around the world, leaned in early to provide regulatory clarity and passed legislation, both about stablecoins, but even further back, I think in 2017 or 2018, the FSA here in Japan issued clarity and a kind of a taxonomy, a framework for how different cryptos would be regulated. And that has really allowed, I think, entrepreneurship and investment to thrive here in Japan. Now, as compared to the United States, which has really been behind, certainly Japan and the UK and behind Switzerland, so a lot of countries are leading, and Japan has been in many ways one. That's not to say they haven't been conservative about the regulation, but I think that can be really healthy. As long as there's clear rules of the road, entrepreneurs will work within them.
So if you're imagining a stable coin in Japan, what's the time frame?
Well, I think right now Ripple in particular is focused on let's get live with the US dollar stablecoin. But I think there will be, people will want to hold yen stablecoins, and I think that's only a matter of time. And I think the regulators here in Japan, again, about a year ago, passed some legislation around that, and there's some companies going through the licensing process right now to get live.
A lot of the companies that are involved in this space in Japan are larger corporations. Is that sort of a concern, not having the smaller, innovative guys take the lead?
Well, I think what you're seeing is some of the bigger guys partnering with the smaller innovative companies. Ripple, way back in 2016, partnered with SBI, one of the largest and most successful banking conglomerates here, and really across a lot of financial services here in Japan. And that's been a really successful partnership for us and for them. So we feel like it makes sense to when you enter some of these markets to partner with some of the bigger guys. And that's true in Korea, that's true in Japan. Depending on what market you go into, we try to figure out what's the best way to enter.
Especially here in Japan, we've talked about regulation being a bit more clear, but also the government has been very active in setting those regulations. At the same time, we're headed towards a presidential election for the ruling Liberal Democratic Party. Do you have any views on the potential that this market could change?
Well, actually, while I've been here in Japan, I've met with regulators, I've met with the FSA, I've met with elected representatives, and what I've heard consistently is a desire to lean into these technologies. I think the environment here from a macro point of view has been very pro-innovation, and this helps create job growth. It helps, even getting the economy kind of jump-started. And what has been a little bit deflationary, I think some of these assets can actually be used to address that and provide some balance in how pricing across different jurisdictions occurs.
You're even encouraged as an outsider because some of these markets in Asia can tend to be very insular.
Yeah, I think historically that's been my impression. I will tell you, I have felt incredibly warm welcomes across the board, with the FSA, with elected representatives. They want to see technologies like this embraced and adopted, whether it's crypto and blockchain or AI. That's a consistent message I heard in all of my meetings over the last day or two.
Does that really contrast to what you're feeling in the U.S., the warmth and embrace?
It's a sad reality. I chuckle about it, but it's frustrating. I grew up in the United States. The majority of Ripple's employees are based in the United States today, but our number of employees we hire outside the United States has grown dramatically.
I was going to say, how big is that?
So we have about 900 employees globally. 75% of our hiring has been non-U.S., in part because of exactly what you're talking about. The U.S. has been pretty hostile towards crypto. The Biden administration, frankly, has taken a pretty negative view, and that has meant this kind of regulation through enforcement. The United States SEC has sued a lot of companies in the space. And rather than doing the hard work that the Japanese regulators have done of codifying and creating a framework, they've just sued people. That's not a really great way to regulate an industry.
Do you think that would change if we have the more overtly crypto-friendly Trump administration coming back in?
Well, I don't know who's going to win. I think regardless of who wins, you're going to see new leadership at the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, and that will be, I think, an important changing of the guard. Now, Trump and the Republicans clearly have leaned into being very pro-crypto. I view crypto and blockchain as a very bipartisan. You shouldn't care about a technology depending upon what party you're from. I think being pro-innovation and pro-job growth makes sense on both sides of the aisle. So it's almost like saying I'm a Republican, I'm anti-email, but I'm a Democrat, I'm pro-email. Like that doesn't make sense.
At least
how
for
you
the
use
time.
them.
At least for the time being, though, given that there is that lack of clarity, given that, they're pro and anti-email,
Yeah.
no U.S. IPO, at least for now.
No, we don't have any. That's not on our horizon. We're frankly very lucky to have a very strong balance sheet. We've made acquisitions. We bought a custody company last year for $250 million US. We've done stock buybacks to our private shareholders. But going public in the United States when the SEC isn't a big fan of crypto and certainly Ripple even specifically, I don't think that's in the cards anytime soon.
So where is all of that money coming from? Like how much of that ratio comes from overseas, especially Asia?
I don't know the exact ratio. We think about our business as a very global business. 95% of our customers are non-U.S. customers. About 40% of our business is in the Asia-Pacific region in terms of payment flows. And again, our customers, Ripple, the company, our customers are banks, financial institutions, payment providers. We use the XRP ledger, and we use the token XRP to kind of facilitate these transactions. Some people get confused about which is which, but Ripple, the company, our customers